This is November
3 Alpha Papa Alpha.
November 3 Alpha Papa Alpha, was that?
No, Whiskey 3 Alpha Papa Alpha. We're also in Pennsylvania, Steeler country over here, just south of Pittsburgh, over.
Oh, Roger, what's the name that way?
Tony, Tango Oscar, November Yankee.
Roger, Roger. Tony, tell me about your radio and your antenna system.
Well, the radio is just a YAESU FTDX1200. I'm running about 32 on the mic gain, 100 watts. Talking on a wire. It's on my QRZ page. It's a 66-foot Ultimax wire. I got welded up some poles and strung it out in the backyard there, over.
Roger, Roger. What kind of microphone are you using?
It's a stock mic that came with the YAESU handheld.
Is that a condenser or a dynamic?
It's a good question. It's got a switch on the back. Dynamic. It's right on the front. Sorry about that.
Roger, Roger. Sounds good. You might check your, my big thing is everybody needs to check their ALC like once a day or once a week, particularly if you change mics or something like that, because the ALC will show you exactly what's happening with your modulation. If you're running, you should be running a mid-scale to 2/3 on that ALC meter, and that will ensure that you're as fat as you probably are going to get, or in that area anyway, and that's the important thing. If you change mics, sometimes those mics you might change to might not be as high output as the one that was there, and so you could be working with not the correct audio level. So that's what the ALC will show you, Roger.
Yeah, I copied that. Well, I got a headset on. I got a monitor button. I can hear myself. I just turned it off again. And this radio has a processor, but I never really messed with that there. Over.
Roger, Roger. Well, I think all things considered, about a 3 dB dynamic range is pretty nice. Without any processing, your average peak modulation is going to be right around 30%. And with a little processing, you can kick that, I'm talking average, you can kick that average percent of modulation up to around 70 or 80%, which is the equivalent of almost doubling your audio level, the apparent audio level. Roger?
I'll copy that. Well, this knob, how's that? You get any lighter there? I turned it up a little, over.
Oh, looking good. I would say your dynamic range is probably around 3 or thereabouts, which is pretty typical for about mid-scale on the ALC. Now, that other ICOM 7310, 7610, that's got a little adjustment on it called drive. And drive is the equivalent of taking that audio and just getting almost a half a dB dynamic range. It's just unbelievable. I mean, more audio coming at you than you would possibly ever need, Roger.
Yeah, well, you got some serious audio. You're giving me up in the red here on this meter 20, swinging from a 9 to a 20. So you're whatever you're running down there is working there, over.
Roger. Well, this is a modified YAESU 990. It's an older, about a 30-year-old radio that we've done some work on the transmit side. It's running right at a 3 width. It's actually was a 2.4, and we have brought it out to about a 3. And then on the receive, we have worked on the receive frequency response to make it just ultra flat through the range of the bandpass. Roger?
Copy that. Yeah, well, that that's radio you have. You can probably hold a resistor or a capacitor in your hand. I looked inside this thing, and it's like micro surgery, all that surface mount stuff. Over.
Oh, Roger, Roger. Well, it's like little bumps, little bumps on the PC board. Now, what can you tell from a bump? What is it? You know, is it a resistor? Only the schematic knows for sure, and probably, you know, you don't get those anymore. You just get an owner's manual, no schematic, and so Lord knows what those little bumps are, Roger.
Copy that. No, this did come with a schematic. Yeah, I used to repair radios and TVs and VCRs, a few other things. But since I went to this surface mine, you know, because I worked for Bell South, Bell Atlantic, now it's Verizon, and well, I used to. Okay, I'm retired. Anyways, nowadays it's like, yeah, you know, little bumps. We'll just let it go at that.
Roger. About the only thing I could do possibly would be to interrupt the bump, and but I would never be able to replace it with another bump. You know, I don't know if they sell bumps like that anyway. But anyway, sounding good, Tony. You're like about a 12 over my noise level, 12 dB over my noise level. And I'm beginning to think that those signals, you know, I'm talking dB over noise because I'm looking at the output of my receiver on a VU meter, because I have the front end RF turned down to the point it's kind of like the same philosophy as how you would copy CW, only injecting enough RF to get the job done. And so I'm running just below compression on the front end, which obviously negates being able to use the S meter for any relevant signal description. So I just use I'm looking at the audio output of the receiver on a VU meter, and I've got the voice set for 0 level. So when the person ceases to speak, the meter then shows what the residual noise level is. Roger, Roger.
Oh, copied that. Sounds very interesting. I just got this. This came with it came with a needle that swung back and forth. I like the bar. I have it set for the slide bar, bar graph, whatever you want to call it. And like I said, you're going from a 9 to a 20. And when it passes the 9, it changes to red. So you're doing a fine job up here in Pittsburgh. Over.
Thank you, sir. Well, when I was working with my Elmer, when we were developing the Qso-Vlog system, you know, he was telling me that I should be Class A signal from Montreal to Miami, and from New York to New Mexico, simply from well, we were using a inverted V at a 45-degree angle. So, and it has come to pass that inverted V at a 45 is very omnidirectional. So I get just as good up towards Montreal as I do down towards Florida and Miami. So, you know, and with 1KW, part of it is the geographic location of Louisville, which is very central to working the East Coast and working from New York to New Mexico. Roger.
Yeah, copy that. Yeah, I just looked you up here. It says you're about 348 miles from where I'm at, down there in wherever you're at, Kentucky. So, you know, I don't know if you got a beam or inverted V, whatever. I got an end-fed, like I said, a wire. It's on my QRZ page, second picture, I think. And, you know, I set a goal to get 100 countries. I got 102. And this is all new to me, you know, ham operation. I've been only doing it for about going on 2 years. You know, I got my extra and all that. And I had to get the extra to get the 100 countries. They hit that century marker. And now it's like, yeah, okay, I did that. So I just can't. I just scan around now and talk to anybody there. Over.
Oh, roger that. Yeah, I was just giving you a drink of coffee. Now, let me see. I'll put my thinking hat on, and I'm saying that your antenna is running east and west. Is that a roger?
No, that's running north and south. East and west, it's probably transmitting east and west, but it's running north and south. That's the way my yard is. South is the way I'm facing right now, looking out the window, and the antenna's to the back of me. So it's north to south. Over.
Oh, roger. What's your output power?
Right now, it's 100 watts. Right. Yeah. And microphone is 42 now. I turned it down a little.
Well, not need to do that, but your antenna is radiating very well off the ends then, because you are now about 15 dB over my noise level, so it's a really nice signal for 100 watts. But we did move our time. We used to be Friday mornings from 10 to noon on this frequency, and a lot of 100 watters were coming in at 1 or 2 dB above noise. Just, not very good signals. So we said, well, maybe we can pick up some additional strength on this band by going in the afternoon. So now that we're running between 3:30 and 5, the signals have improved maybe 5-6 dB, Roger.
Yeah, I copied that. Yeah, I don't know. You're coming in there like wall to wall here. Like I got a neighbor, I can almost see his antenna, and you're practically giving me the same signal. So it must be them conditions there. Over.
Oh, roger. Yeah, well, that was what we were hoping. That, and obviously you're a prime example. Your signal would, in the morning, might be 1 to 2 dB above my noise, and now it's 10 to 15 dB above my residual noise. Roger.
Yeah, copy that. See, I don't know how to. I don't know how to do that dB above noise thing here on this radio. I don't even think this radio is capable of doing that, is it?
No, because you're running, a normal setup where you're reading S meter readings over S9 or whatever, and that's the way a normal receiver is set up. But because we have, I'm running antenna attenuation of 20 dB, and then I'm running RF down to just below my AGC compression. So it gives just a blanket silk for everybody to to transmit on. It doesn't suck up between words or anything. It just lays there, and so then I've got a little trim pot here right by the PTT that I can ride level on everybody. Roger.
Okay. Yeah, I'd like to see a picture of that setup. Sounds very interesting. So, anyways, I think we're tying this frequency up like another fella. I don't want to be doing that. So, Jim, yeah, it's been a pleasure. Like I said, I got my 100 countries now. I slide around between 20 and 40 meters and see who's doing what. So this is what, some kind of net? Is that what this is there, over?
Well, more or less, I guess it is. We usually run Friday afternoons between 3:30 and 5 on 7189, and we record for an hour and a half, and then we post the whole thing up on YouTube. So if you go to YouTube and do a call letter search for Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor, that will take you to our Qso-Vlog page, and on that page you'll find a session called My Group Air Check 120718. My Group Air Check 120718, which is today's date, and that will have the whole hour and a half QSO, and you will be right there, Roger.
Yeah, yeah, that sounds all right. I'm going to do that. In fact, I'll log you in here so I don't forget your call letters. And yeah, it's been a pleasure, Jim. I appreciate carrying on here. I'll let someone else shoot a rag there for a while. So KC3 or KC9VKV, Victor, Kilo Victor. This is Whiskey 3, Alpha Papa Alpha up here in Pittsburgh. 73s, have a good weekend, and I'll talk to you again. Happy holidays, all that good stuff. Sending it your way. Over and out.
Roger, Roger, 23's that way, and you have a happy Christmas, Merry Christmas, and a happy season there. And like I say, we'll get this posted within the next couple of days. So if in in a couple of days, if you go to YouTube, it should be there. But usually it takes a couple of days to be able to get to it and get it uploaded. So 3's Tony, and we'll catch you later. And this is Kilo Charlie 9 Victor Kilo Victor and the Qso-Vlog program, where we're recording. And if you've got a radio, you want to check the audio, give us a shout. This is KC9VKV.